This isn't just a video, this is a signal. You didn't find this, it found you. Carl Jung called it synchronicity.
You know, there are plenty of facts in the observation of the unconscious where you come across cases of a very peculiar kind of parallel events, namely that, say, I have a certain thought or a certain definite subject is occupying my attention or my interest. At the same time, something else, quite independently, happens that portrays just that thought.
Synchronicity, a moment where life lines up perfectly, not by logic, but by meaning. And if this video showed up today, it's because something in you is ready. In the next few minutes, we'll explore why this moment matters, what synchronicity really is, and how to finally understand the signs that speak to you. Starting with the hidden pattern beneath your life. Most people live on the surface. They see events as random, accidents, coincidences. But Jung believed the opposite. He said there's a hidden layer beneath reality, a deep structure where the unconscious and the universe speak in symbols. And when something meaningful breaks through that surface, it's not chance, it's synchronicity. Carl Gustav Jung wrote in Synchronicity, a causal connecting principle. Causality is the way we explain the link between two successive events. Synchronicity designates the parallelism of time and meaning between psychic and psychophysical events, which scientific knowledge so far has been unable to reduce to a common principle. The term explains nothing. It simply formulates the occurrence of meaningful coincidences, which, in themselves, are chance happenings, but are so improbable that we must assume them to be based on some kind of principle or on some property of the empirical world. He also wrote, "Synchronicity is no more baffling or mysterious than the discontinuities of physics. It is only the ingrained belief in the sovereign power of causality that creates intellectual difficulties and makes it appear unthinkable that causeless events exist or could ever occur." Carl Jung considered synchronicities to be life's way of saying, pay attention. And here's the catch. Synchronicity doesn't speak in words. It speaks in patterns, numbers, dreams, repeats, perfect timing. It whispers through the weird, the unexpected, the familiar that feels charged. You're not imagining it. You're not crazy. You're being called to something. Here, Carl Jung shares an instance of synchronicity in his own life. I noted the following on April 1st, 1949. Today is Friday. We have fish for lunch. Somebody happens to mention the custom of making an April fish of someone. That same morning I made a note of an inscription which read, Est homo totus medius piscis ab imo. In the afternoon, a former patient of mine, whom I had not seen for months, showed me some extremely impressive pictures of fish, which he had painted in the meantime. In the evening I was shown a piece of embroidery with fish-like sea monsters in it. On the morning of April 2nd, another patient, whom I had not seen for many years, told me a dream in which he stood on the shore of a lake and saw a large fish that swam straight towards her and landed at her feet. I was at this time engaged on a study of the fish symbol in history. Only one of the persons mentioned here knew anything about it. This leads us to a point that you must know before you can read the synchronicities in your life. This point begins with a question. Is your inner crisis sending you signals? Let's be honest. Right now, something in your life feels stuck or uncertain or heavier than usual. When we are going through something difficult, when we feel lost, uncertain, stuck, or in pain, it's not just a problem to solve. It's a sign that something deep inside us is shifting. Something unconscious wants to come into the light. We are being asked to grow, even if we don't yet know how. Now, your unconscious is not silent during this time. It speaks, but not like a voice. It speaks in symbols, in feelings, in dreams, and sometimes in the outer world itself. This is what Carl Jung called synchronicity. It's when something happens in your outer life, a coincidence, a moment, an encounter, that matches something deep inside you. It's not just chance, it's meaningful, but not logical. Imagine you're thinking about a deep question, maybe whether to leave a job or end a relationship, and suddenly you see a message on a billboard that feels like it's speaking directly to you. Or you're grieving something, and a bird lands near you and just looks at you in silence. Or a stranger says something in passing that cuts right to your heart. These are small things, but they strike you. They feel charged. They linger. That charge, That feeling that this moment means something is your clue. That's the moment your unconscious and the outer world are in sync. That's synchronicity. Why does it happen? Because your inner world is pushing to be seen. When you're in a state of inner crisis, when your normal way of living no longer fits, the unconscious tries to break through. It tries to wake you up. It's like your soul is knocking from the inside, asking, will you listen? Will you look deeper? Will you change? And the world, in response, begins to echo that. Not always clearly, not always kindly, but meaningfully. So when strange things happen, coincidences that touch your heart or shake your thoughts, they are not just random. They are mirrors, reflections, signals. Your soul is not asleep. It's trying to speak. What's been showing up in your life lately? Anything odd? Anything that keeps repeating? Because here's the truth. Most people only change when pain forces them to. But synchronicity offers a softer path, not a shove, just a nudge, a whisper saying, this way. But why now? Why did this message find you today? Because today, you're open. Not fully maybe, but more than yesterday. Just enough for the message to land. Timing is everything. And when your outer world aligns perfectly with your inner world, right when you're ready to grow or shift, that's synchronicity in action. This video, it's not about Carl Jung, it's about you. And the fact that it found you today tells me something is stirring inside you. But now the question is, what will you do with this moment? Carl Jung suggests beginning with learning how to read the signs. Synchronicity is quiet, but clear when you know how to spot it. It's when something feels too perfect to be random. When you think of someone and they call. When a book falls off a shelf and answers the exact question you've been avoiding. It often brings emotion with it. A spark, a chill, a pause. To read synchronicity first, you must slow down. It cannot be rushed. It comes like a whisper, not a shout. Start with your feeling. When something strange happens, a coincidence, an encounter, a symbol, ask yourself, did it stir something in me? Did it feel like more than chance? That feeling is your first clue. Synchronicity carries emotion. It moves something in you, even if you can't explain why. Then ask, what was happening in me at that moment? What were you thinking, feeling, or wrestling with before the event occurred? Often, synchronicity answers a question your conscious mind hasn't even fully formed yet, or it shines a light on a feeling you've been trying to ignore. Look at the symbol. What showed up? Was it a song, an animal, a phrase, a person? Every object, every being carries a symbolic meaning. You don't need to know exactly what it means right away. Just ask, what does this remind me of? What feeling or memory is connected to it? For example, if you see a butterfly after a painful conversation, you might feel sorrow and beauty at once. The butterfly becomes a symbol of transformation. Not because someone told you that, it's what your soul felt in that moment. That is the meaning. Next, ask yourself, is this part of a pattern? Synchronicity often repeats in different forms. You hear the same phrase from 3 people. You see the same number again and again. When something repeats, your unconscious is speaking more clearly now. It's insisting. Then, listen. Not with logic, with the heart. What part of you is this event speaking to? Is it pointing to grief you haven't faced? Desire you've buried? A decision you fear to make? Synchronicity will not give you answers like a map. It gives you questions, signs, feelings. It stirs your knowing. You must stay in dialogue with it. Keep asking, what is this moment inviting me to become? Not what to do right away, but who you are being asked to become. Reading synchronicity is not about solving a puzzle. It's about letting yourself be affected, touched, changed. If something makes you stop and wonder, it's worth investigating, because synchronicity isn't just a message, it's a mirror. And what it reflects back is usually the thing you're ready to face or become. This brings us to the next essential point. Synchronicity is a call to power. Jung believed that synchronicity was part of a greater process called individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are beneath all the masks. Most people miss the signs. They shrug them off. They go back to autopilot. But you didn't. You're here, which means something in you is done staying asleep. Synchronicity isn't just a wink from the universe. It's an invitation to change direction, to heal something old, to step into the next version of you. When you listen to it, life starts moving. Doors open, patterns break, things click, but only if you choose to act. This moment is not small. You were meant to watch this today, because something is aligning inside you and around you. So go on, pick up the call. Say yes to the next chapter. Because this didn't find you by accident. And you are right on time. We invite you to continue your journey by watching these videos. Never forget, together we will remember our timeless wisdom.